Throughout the history of animated fiction, there have been characters that are truly evil to the core, but very few have won our affection, and only one of them is a fat, anti-Semitic kid. That's right, we're talking about Eric Cartman. Today we'll review some of the worst things he's done throughout South Park, starting with the time Eric almost blew up a hospital to be the only superhero in the town. This character begins with the masked hero of South Park, patrolling the streets of the town to protect the defenseless, even if they are not in danger at all.
A woman being raped, this is what our city has been reduced to. Where the money goes, the raping starts. Women are helpless without the king.
Oh, yes, Josh, yes!
That's the raccoon. He helps everyone indiscriminately. Maybe that's why the police reject him.
Don't let the city's peacefulness fool you, Commissioner. It's too quiet.
Oh, not this kid again. Hey, you get out of here. Out.
There was another rapist.
How difficult it is to want to do good in such a corrupt city. Thank goodness children love superheroes. Except for the children of South Park, of course.
Yeah, and dressing up and running around at night is faggy anyway.
You're a fag, Kyle! Fuck you!
As you can see, neither Eric nor the raccoon are beloved characters in the town. No matter how much Eric tries to convince the boys that the raccoon is a hero, no one pays attention to him. But when another superhero appears, things start to get a change, for the worse of course.
Kyle hates Eric Cartman. Are you saying you're Eric Cartman? No, I'm saying that... God damn it, Stan, is that you? It is you, isn't it? Clyde, you're not a superhero, I am.
Of course, Mysterion is a much more serious and imposing hero than the raccoon, but even so, wearing his boxers outside his pants does take away his aura points. But the one who no longer has any aura is Cartman, who watches from afar his friends playing, trying to find out who this new hero is. Unfortunately for him, no one tries to find out who the raccoon is.
How is it that nobody came to Kunikon 09? This is fucking ridiculous.
Eric has organized a syndicate of extremist redheads, but he can get people interested in his alter ego. Even his mother pays attention when local hero Mysterion comes to the news.
Well, I think he's kind of a symbol for the town, you know? A symbol that everyone who's sick of crime can rally behind.
Fucking butthole.
Just look at Mysterion, he's just better. Even when he wears his underwear on the outside, the police respect him, and more importantly, the boys.
Aha! Kenny! I should have known. Why do you have a picture of Mysterion in your locker, Kenny? Unless you are Mysterion!
Dude, I have a picture of Mysterion in my locker too. Yeah, so do I.
Poor Eric. Even though he wants to do good, his ego ends up being bigger than his will to do good. So he turns to his nemesis, who is none other than Professor Chaos.
Listen to me! I want to help you get rid of Mysterion! Let him go, General Disarray! Why would you help us?
Before the raccoon reveals that he just wants to get rid of Mysterion, I have to tell you that Butters looks so adorable in a supervillain suit. Continuing with the action, Professor Chaos agrees to ally with the raccoon to take down South Park's new hero, and so he brings the raccoon, his nemesis, to his top secret evil lair. Butters is not the smartest villain.
Why is Cartman crossed out? He could be Mysterion.
No, he's too fat. Based on his body type, it's gotta be someone like Stan or Kyle.
He may not be the smartest villain, but he sure knows how to roast Cartman. Butters is wickedly cool, but not cool enough to stop the raccoon's stupidity.
But you really want to blow up a hospital? I mean, aren't you a good guy?
Sometimes blowing up hospitals is for the greater good, Chaos.
Just as you hear it, the good raccoon is worse than Professor Chaos. The purpose of blowing up the hospital is to get Mysterion to reveal his identity, but since he's a true hero, he decides to confront Professor Chaos, although he falls in battle. But since the Italian stallion gets up again and defeats his enemies, of course the raccoon appears to help him.
Please, I give up!
Don't worry, Mysterion. The coon will now help you.
Whoa, wait, I thought we were working together! Ugh. Oh, jeez, I think I broke a tooth!
That was great teamwork, Mysterion. South Park is safe.
The raccoon is a crawling rat who accomplishes two things: stopping Professor Chaos and getting Mysterion to remove his mask of his own free will, as he tells him that the terrorist will not stop until he takes off his mask.
No, it's true. As long as my identity is a mystery, this will just happen again and again. It has to end. I will show my face.
Kenny finally gets to do more than just die and come back to life. The only one who can do nothing but destroy everything around him is the raccoon, who is now the sole protector of the city. Let's move on to the next chapter where Eric will fight to the death to be the only one who can use an amusement park. Eric couldn't be more desperate to go home and play with his toys, but things change when they read the will of the late matriarch of the Cartman family.
To my grandson Eric, you were always my favorite fat little man, my perfect round little pudding piler.
Oh, God, you have to embarrass me even in death, Grandma.
For you, Eric, I leave from my life savings the sum of $1 million to be transferred to you immediately.
Who's a jigger what?
Of course, that idiot Cartman would soon spend it all in a truly selfish act. Although in truth it is his inheritance and he decides how to handle it.
Mr. Cartman, congratulations. The theme park is yours.
Gentlemen, I thank you.
Of course, this news doesn't sit well with the best Jew in history, who has been going to the mosque for several days to wonder if there really is a God. Because a moron like Cartman receives $1 million, and the one who has fought for causes noble only receives.
I'm 9 years old, and I have a hemorrhoid, Stan. I have a hemorrhoid, and Cartman has his own theme park.
Kyle is going to have a really bad time in the chapters that we have left to see. Of course, Eric doesn't care at all because he has everything he wanted, and obviously, he doesn't take long to rub it in the faces of Stan and Kyle, who are dying to get into the park literally.
That's right, you stay out! You can't keep us up forever, you fucking fat ass! We'll be back as soon as Kyle's hemorrhoid is better! My life can't get any worse! You'll see, we'll get in!
When Eric finds out that Kyle has a hemorrhoid, he offers to pay for his medical expenses. Nah, all he does is hire a security guard to kill Stan and Kyle if they try it again and again. Unfortunately for him, he's going to have to let people in because he has to make money to pay the guard. Of course, this solution disturbs Eric's sleep.
Lon? Lon? I hate lawns! Can't you go on something else right now?
We want to see the spook house. Well, we pay $29.95. We should be able to go in the spook house.
Yeah, but I think it's broke down. The cars aren't moving.
And as the park is falling apart, Eric has to let in more people to pay for the upkeep. So Cartman's perfect dream is turning into his worst nightmare. But the one who's really living a nightmare is Kyle, who's hospitalized because his hemorrhoid has gotten worse and his faith in God has disappeared. So his parents try to restore his faith by reading him the story of Job. But this doesn't turn out the way they expected.
That's the most horrible story I've ever heard. Why would God do such horrible things to a good person just to prove a point to Satan?
Oh,
what Eric swore to destroy because he discovered that it takes money to keep the place in excellent condition. Fortunately for him, having prohibited access for a long time served him so that now the park sells more tickets than ever, so he is making a lot of money. Unfortunately, he no longer has fun like before. Even though Eric is miserable, Kyle does not take well the news that the park is a gold mine.
Kyle? Kyle? Get the doctor!
I'd like to say that Kyle is the only victim of Eric owning a park, but we already know who else pays the consequences without even deserving them. Poor Kenny at least spends his last moments having fun, not like Cartman, who is still miserable while still alive and returns the park to its previous owner, who gladly buys it back because Eric turned it into a money-making machine. Of course, this only brings out the #1 party poopers in every country in the world.
Eric Cartman?
Yeah?
I'm Frank Garrett with the IRS. You haven't kept records of your income or payout, and there's a $500,000 discrepancy. Seize the assets.
Hey, that's my money!
There's also the lawsuit of the little boy who died in your park. The family's entitled to the rest of this.
If taxes brought down Al Capone, they can bring down anyone. But this news brings Carl back from the dead, who is taken to the park by Stan to witness Cartman's well-deserved disgrace.
It isn't fair! You goddamn assholes, it isn't fair!
Look, Kyle, look.
What about my dreams? What about my money?
Huh?
I'm so pissed off!
move along, sir. You're vandalizing private property.
Hey, you used to work for me!
Kyle!
He's coming back.
That's it, baby, that's it.
God damn it, this sucks!
Wait a minute. Yes, the hemorrhoid is going into remission.
Look, Kyle, Cartman is totally miserable. You are up there.
God really exists. Unfortunately for Kyle, Eric is the devil himself, and he's about to discover it again. One day at South Park Elementary, Professor Garrison is absent and a substitute takes his place. Of course, the kids take him less seriously than the perverted Mr. Garrison, who was actually forced to retire for his sexual harassment record. Getting on with what really matters, in the classroom, the substitute teacher sends the kid to write a get-well letter for Kyle, who seems to be very sick. Of course, if you ask the kids.
He's faking.
Even though they think Kyle is faking it, the boys prepare a very cute and adorable get-well-soon card for him.
Well, the kids at school made you a card, Kyle. Look.
Go on, Butters. I don't want it.
And even though Butters sings a song to help Kyle get better, it turns out that Butters' adorable voice is not enough of a cure for Kyle's kidneys, and it seems that conventional medicine is too risky, so Sharon suggests that Sheila go to a natural medicine clinic that doesn't sound risky at all.
Oh, well, with a name like Misinformation, she must know something.
One time, they tried to cure my style with a rusty key. I almost lost my eye. Thank goodness Stan always questions everything. Unfortunately, the mothers of South Park are just as stupid as the fathers.
Excuse me, but what do these toxins look like?
What?
Have you ever actually seen a toxin?
Don't be a smartass, Stanley.
Then she says that Randy's the fool of the relationship, which, yes, he is, but she's not far behind. Another who is not far behind is Professor Garrison, who, now that he has a lot of free time and decides to write an erotic novel, heterosexual, but his perverse mind takes him in the opposite direction.
Just the sight of those breasts made Reginald's penis very hard. His penis was of considerable size, and now beads of sweat ran slowly down his penis, making it glisten like a strong swimmer fresh from out of the pool. It was a fantastic penis.
I'd say Professor Garrison was fired too late. Carl is the only one who can still save himself, but it is Stan who sets to work to save his friend. But that task becomes very complicated when a real doctor reveals the solution to him.
It's very brave, Stan, but I've already checked my records and you and Kyle aren't a match for kidneys. In fact, there's only one person in South Park with the same blood type as Kyle.
Who? Oh, shit.
How bad it is when you need to ask the devil for help, and even more so when he is Eric Cartman, who plays with poor Kenny while he welcomes Stan and the dying Carl into his house.
Alright, will you donate one of your kidneys to Kyle? You only need one, fat boy!
He's so bad that he doesn't even look for an excuse to deny Stan's request, and it's even worse that he asks him something in exchange for the kidney.
Cartman, you are so going to hell when you die! Yes, well, until then, I need about $10 million.
Even on the black market, a kidney doesn't cost that much. It's not like I've been looking for how much I can sell a kidney for. But getting back to the subject, the health food pharmacy keeps making money because the adults of South Park firmly believe that it's better than conventional medicine. Stan keeps trying to get people to realize that it's a scam that's killing Kyle, but again,
isn't it possible that these Indians don't know what they're talking about?
You watch your mouth, Stanley. The Native Americans were raped of their land and resources by white people like us.
And that has something to do with their medicine because...
Enough, Stanley!
So Stan, frustrated at not being able to save his friend, decides to form a small group to go and remove Cartman's kidney. Before going with that, a couple of things happen that are worth mentioning. 1. Professor Garrison continues writing his heterosexual erotic novel that becomes increasingly gay.
Go on, Rebecca said softly. Touch me. Diana leaned down slowly and brushed Rebecca's bare stomach with her fingertips. It felt good, like a penis. A soft but sturdy penis that felt warm to the touch.
And if you think watching Garrison describe his homosexual fantasies is a bit uncomfortable, the new natural feminine product is much more uncomfortable and somewhat disgusting, although it has more utility than Garrison's fantasies.
You were right, Mom. All natural Cherokee hair tampons really did the trick.
And when you're done using them, they make a great toy for Jesse. Go get it, boy.
Now the moment everyone was waiting for, Stan and his team infiltrate Cartman's house while he's sleeping until his pig warns him that there are invaders in the house. Of course, Eric thanks his pig for waking him up.
Come on, we gotta get out of here! Oh no! Oh well, we're busted.
stupid Cartman, but unfortunately for everyone who wants to save Carl, Eric is a stupid guy who is too smart.
Okay, let's see. Looks like if we cut here and here... I hope it's not too bloody. I'm wearing my favorite pants.
Thingy, right, well, here goes nothing. Help me pull his pajamas up. No way! Kidney Blocker 2000? What?
How come they play the hair tampon commercial, but they don't play the one to protect the kidneys? They really need it in Rio de Janeiro. Even so, Cartman is a bastard. Just like Professor Garrison, who gets his heterosexual erotic book published, but it is rejected for being too...
No, this is what we in the book publishing business like to call gay. Really, really gay.
What the hell are you talking about?
Later, Stan cries with Kenny for the death of literature, and because he can't find a way to save his best friend Kyle, ironically, he doesn't care that he can't help the only friend who supports him in such a difficult moment.
Look out! Oops.
I'll never see Kyle again.
Wow, poor Kenny. His friends don't like him. Well, moving on to what matters, Sheila takes Carl to have his spirit cured at a naturopathic clinic. Fortunately, these scammers come to their senses when they see the state of the Jewish boy.
No, man, that kid needs a doctor. And besides, we're not actually Native Americans. I mean, I'm more like a Mexican.
What?
Of course, now that the adults of South Park discover the truth about herbal medicine, they are quick to have the Mexicans deported, and Sheila is quick to help Stan come up with a plan to get Cartman's kidney.
That son of a bitch!
It seems that Cartman has learned the Brazilian method. Of course, Eric rushes to go and recover his precious kidney.
Okay, asshole, give me back my kidney!
Dude, please, Kyle needs it.
It's mine! Not yours, mine! Give it back right now or there's gonna be hell to pay!
All right, here.
That kidney is as small as Cartman's heart and his brain too, so he goes straight to the hospital to ask the doctor to put his kidney back in. Of course, when he wakes up from his operation, he gets an unpleasant surprise.
Hey, what's going on?
Kyle's all better, Cartman, thanks to you.
Sure, Eric swears to kill his own mother to get revenge on Stan, but unfortunately, Kyle never has any luck when it comes to Eric Cartman.
Careful, Cartman, you might pop your stitches. What the?
Oh, good, you got the crappy kidney.
If you think that's the worst thing this kid can do, wait until you see the time Eric wanted to change the history of the Civil War. The day before the Civil War reenactment in South Park, the boys practice their marching band and everything is going great until Cartman gets really into it.
Cartman, I'm the leader of the reenactment fife and drum squad and I say you play the flute. Oh, well, you know what I say? Screw you guys, I'm going home. You dick!
And for this simple fact, the next day during the preview of the performance, Cartman appears dressed as General Lee of the Confederate side. Of course, the boys repudiate him because apart from the fact that he abandoned them, he went over to the side of the slavers. Of course, Eric has no idea about the history of the Civil War, and that is why Stan and Carl decide to bet with Cartman that the anti-slavery side will win the war in the play. Of course, the prize for winning the bet cannot be more in line with what was fought in that war.
Well, this war's about slavery, so how about if the South wins, you two assholes have to be my slaves for a month.
And if the North wins, you're our slave for a month?
Right.
You're on.
Then I shall bid you good morning, gentlemen, and see you on the battlefield.
The anti-slavery people betting slaves. Who understands the story? But well, later the play starts and everything goes well until Cartman decides to change history by stealing the victory bell. Of course, he ruins the play and they have to start over again. This time the Confederate side makes it clear to Eric that they have to lose. Unfortunately, Cartman is a very convincing racist and manages to convince the Confederates to win this time.
And I say it's high time we kick some ass. Who's with me?
Yeah!
So, now drunk and with Eric in charge, the Confederates decide to get serious and win the fake war. Obviously, this causes problems with Stan's grandfather, who actually fought in that war, but that doesn't stop even the side of the anti-slavery activists get drunk and join the Confederates to follow Cartman, who convinces them to take Topeka. Stan and Kyle don't really know the extent of Cartman's hatred or the limits of the stupidity of the men of South Park, but this duo decide to act upon receiving a hate letter from Eric, who reminds them that he is about to win the bet and who is about to march with his army of idiots to take Tennessee. Of course, when Stan and Kyle arrive, it is already too late. The city has been razed by the Confederates. Those who survived join the slavers, and that is why the government decides to deploy its anti-terrorist forces. Unfortunately, they end up with the least important terrorists.
Dawkins, sir!
Fire a warning flag.
Yes, sir!
Medic!
Whoops.
Oh my god, they killed Kenny!
You bastards!
Hey!
At least Eric has the goodwill to notify the fallen soldier's family.
It is with a very heavy heart that I must inform you that your son Kenny was killed in battle on the morning of November 18th at Ruby Hills Funland in Chattanooga. This war has taken something from all of us, and although your son appears to be the only casualty so far, know that we all share your pain. Your son did not die in vain. I shall persevere and make Stan and Kyle my slaves, because I hate those guys. I hate them so very, very much.
Within all the bad, this could be said to be the worst, because it causes a friend to die in a fictional war for a bad bet, which is far from over because Stan and Kyle, with the help of Butters and Stan's grandfather, execute a plan to take the liquor from the Confederates, who are about to go out to take an important military fort. But now that they have lost the liquor, they have regained their sanity.
Where are you going?
We're going home, kid. Come on.
We can't go home. We have to take Fort Sumter.
Look, the only thing we gotta do is get home before our wives leave us.
But once again, when Cartman is about to lose, his ingenuity for evil rescues him from being Stan and Carl's slave, because now he convinced the liquor factory to send him trucks full of drinks for the tired troops. It must be clarified that the factory is very racist and quite sexist.
Yes, please. Do shots out of my breasts. Well, I guess one little cheers is in order.
I would go to war for breasts. Of course, I wouldn't go to the racist side, although I might think about it. Once drunk, Cartman manages to get his army back, although they get pretty weird this time.
Hey guys, let's all play a game of grab ass. What's grab ass? We just run around in circles and try to grab each other's asses.
Hey, that sounds fun.
Weird or not, they still follow Eric to take Fort Sumter without leaving any survivors, and although they're surrounded by the anti-terrorist forces of the American government, Eric manages to get new racist allies for the Confederate Army and blackmails the President of the United States himself, United States, to hand over the southern states.
To meet our demands, we will be forced to show the videotapes we have of you with Marissa Tomei.
Oh, dear God. We have to meet their demands.
What? Sir, there's not that many of them.
First of all, Marissa Tomei Wow must be the equivalent of Monroe in these times, although of course, I'll stick with the blonde. Marissa did not star in Some Like It Hot. Second, and more importantly, how quickly the president gives in. Eric's army is not bigger than that of the United States, and he doesn't even know if he really has the tapes of the scandal with Marissa Tomei.
I'm so glad I don't have your job.
Later, the Confederate Army waits for the White House to finish the paperwork for the surrender of the southern states. Eric celebrates while Stan and Carl are about to surrender until Grandpa reveals important information to them.
Wait a minute, they're all still doing a reenactment. What we have to do is play into that. Come on, Billy, you boys need a quick history lesson.
He may be old, but he still kicks ass. I wish it was him, the president, because Clinton is ready to surrender to Cartman when Grandpa's plan is set in motion.
Hello, I'm Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States.
Yes, and I'm Jefferson Davis, President of the Confederacy.
Boy, this just keeps getting weirder, doesn't it?
What the hell are you guys doing?
Stan, disguised as the true leader of the Confederates at that time, surrenders to Lincoln and in exchange gives the army what they really wanted.
Well, as Abraham Lincoln, I accept your surrender and agree to your conditions. You and all the Confederates will have all the s'more schnapps you can drink for a year.
And just like that, Cartman loses the army that wiped out half the country, and of course he also loses the bet that he will have to be Stan and Carl's slave. But once again, his ingenuity makes him get his way again.
Wait a minute. I don't have to be your slave. What? The North still won the Civil War. That means slavery is abolished.
He's right, boys. Slavery is illegal and immoral, partially in thanks to the North winning the Civil War.
Aww.
He didn't know anything about history before. Now he's an expert. I wish the fat guy would use his wits for good. Although I honestly hope he never does, because South Park wouldn't be as amazing without Cartman's hatred. And that ends our review. For some of Eric Cartman's worst actions, We've certainly seen things that are worthy of several lives in prison, but we can't deny that we enjoy watching this fatty because chaos is the town of South Park.